The more you only work and the less you focus on the mental clarity, you're going to have to work more.
Yes.
Because you have less mental clarity. Like, you're going to just be doing this dogmatic stuff. You're not going to be working efficiently. But the more you balance that out, right, and you get that mental clarity and the acuteness, you are able to do so much more in such less time.
What is up, guys, and welcome to the Market Moguls Podcast. My name is Jesse, and I am super excited for today's episode. We're going to be taking an under-the-hood look at prop firms with none other than Angelo, CEO of the Funded Trader and other O of Easton Tech. What is the other one?
CRO.
CRO. I knew it wasn't
It's
CEO.
new. Don't worry.
CRO. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. I'm excited to get into it. We got a lot of cool stuff we're going to go over, man. So.
Yeah, it's super interesting because normally I'm the one doing the intro.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't done a podcast in a little while, but definitely excited to be here, to be on the pod, to be on your channel. Your channel's growing like crazy, right? I checked it like several months ago, and the projections were nuts. I don't know what it's been like lately, but yeah, super excited to be on the channel. Honored, obviously a lot of respect for what you're doing, and let's get into it. Give the people what they want to hear. Right?
Hell yeah. Thank you, man. And same for you, bro. It's been a crazy couple of years for you as well, man. Like, I love the come up story. I want to hear more about it. I don't really know the whole story, but I know you're killing it, man. And I just love to see people win, bro. So congrats to you too. Yeah.
It's funny. I always sit in that chair.
Yeah. That's what Sarah else is
having
saying
like
too.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's like you're like right and left-handed.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Yo.
Oh shit, man.
That's wild. But yeah, no, I'm down to get into the story, whatever you want to ask. I like to just keep things super open, transparent, and answer any questions you have. Let's do it.
I love it, bro. Because I'm sure I'm going to ask a bunch of questions that everybody wants to know. So, Yeah, I guess first off, just a little bit of background on you and how you got into trading as a whole. Like, not even necessarily just the prop side of things, but like what brought you into the whole industry?
Yeah, so I think like most people, I was in college. I was going after a major that I actually was pretty passionate about, but I had an internship at a job that exposed me to, corporate world. And at that time I started to realize, oh my God, I'm going to be doing this for the next 30, 40 years. This is a really interesting life that I would live, right? A life that I don't want to live. So at that point I came to the realization, this was my final semester of college, that I needed to figure out a different way to make money. I didn't grow up with an entrepreneurial family at all. My dad was a cop. My mom worked at a spa. Like she didn't have a business at the time. So I was just told to do a traditional path, go to college, right, get a degree, get a safe job. But no, I realized like I need to find a way to make money. So like most people, I went on Instagram, went online, trying to research, how can we get money out here? And I got sucked in by the lifestyle marketing of Instagram, Lambos and all that. At the time, it was Q Banks, so I stumbled across his page, and he was someone that was super like motivational, right? Inspiring story, where he came from, his demeanor, all that. His message was to move with confidence when you're on the charts, when you're off the charts, and to put in the work. And I liked that message. So at the time, again, I was like, if this guy can do it, I can do it, right? That's, I think what most people think, and that's how. Long story short, I got into trading. Got into trading just from an Instagram influencer. I had previously been interested in finance, interested in stock trading. I had bought some stocks and made a little bit of money, so I knew there was definitely a play there. And the thing that interested me the most with Forex was just the leverage, right? Being able to leverage trade, be able to make a lot of money with a little bit of money. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And the idea of my results were a product of my skill. I didn't know much about like the brokerage side or anything like that at the time, right? But it was very much, if I put in the work, I'm gonna get out what I put in, and I really wanted to find something that kind of had that outcome. And I was going through kind of this more enlightenment or learning period in my life where I was really putting in a lot of work on myself, and I was really passionate about that, and I thought that would translate onto the charts, and that's obviously not as easy as it sounds. So that's how I got into trading, and then from there, took a wild ride.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Like touching a little bit on like, getting into trading just because of lifestyle. Do you think that has more of like a positive effect on people? Like it motivates them to get into trading because they see what's possible? Or do you think it maybe has like a negative effect because it puts the wrong expectations from the start? Like not saying it's not possible, but
I think it all comes down to is it real or fake? If
Like real or fake? How? Like you mean
if the lifestyle marketing is fake in the sense of like, oh, I got this Lamborghini from these trading profits and these trading profits aren't actually real, then that's, a fraudulent message. That's not something that is positive generally for the whole world.
Right.
Obviously if lifestyle marketing is a product of someone's hard work and someone's real skill, then it's a very inspiring thing, right? So it's the same as basketball or any sport. If you watch football or watch any of these sports and they do some crazy dunk or some crazy highlight reel that's super inspiring, and then you're gonna, as a young kid or as somebody that's able to still play this sport, you're gonna look up to them, you're gonna try to embody them, right? And you're gonna try to become them. It's gonna become a dream of yours, right? But if that was made with AI or something, right? If the highlight reel was made with AI and it's not real, and then you're just chasing a fallacy, that's a whole other thing, right? So
yeah, and I think too, like, what it does too is like people always, like, a lot of people I think get in trading because I think it's like, oh, I don't have to have a job. I can just learn this. I can buy this course that this guy had. I'm just gonna, go through the course, study it, and then I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go get a Lambo. And like, that's their goal, rather than instead of like, oh, I'm gonna set a goal to just become a profitable trader and become the kind of person that can be a profitable trader. So I feel like lifestyle marketing, like the morality of it, I agree with you 100%. Like,
do you do lifestyle marketing at all?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. Like, I just did some like my first day in the life stuff. So I don't think that, like, I think that where I've built my audience and what really like got me started was just mainly like education. You know what I mean? Because I always thought of it like, whenever I started creating content, I was like, what would I have liked? You know what I mean? Like, because I know there was a time where I was just like, I did like ICT, right? And while ICT is very valuable, it's also doesn't vibe with everybody. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of information that needs to be consolidated in order for you to make money. So I thought, how can I do that for like, what would have benefited me? So I did like a lot of just education. You know what I mean? And but in the sense that like, lifestyle marketing, like, I think that if you should have a healthy blend of it, right? Because to be honest, I definitely think that, somebody needs to prove to you that they are, making money off of trading. They are living a good life if they want to, sell you education, right? Like, because there's people that are selling education that the people that are buying education for them are further on than they are and they don't realize it. You know what I mean? So I think that there's like a healthy mix for sure.
There's a hard line between selling a dream and, inspiring people.
100%.
I think with the prop firms too, it's kind of the same deal. I mean, we could push super hard about how easy it was for X and X to make money on our platform, right?
Yeah.
Or we could be like, hey, this guy was the 1% of the 1% that made money, but he's here and he made $100,000. And let's talk, right? Like, there's ways to frame everything. So it just comes down to the context that you give the audience. I just always remember Raja saying like that not everything changed, but when he bought a Lambo, how his like social media blew up and like all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Definitely has an effect for sure.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because I mean, think about it. Like, if you're like brand new, are you going to listen to the guy? It's like the advice you're getting. It could be two guys telling you and selling you the same thing. One guy lives your dream life, one doesn't. Obviously, you're going to go with the guy living the dream life. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about it. If I potentially didn't get lured in by an influencer doing, cars and stuff, I might have not picked trading.
Yeah, and that's it's like, even like a lot of people I know get in with IML, which is like, IML, like multi-level marketing, all that stuff. It's like, I mean, obviously that's not a direct benefit, but I mean, was it? Because
you want to hear a funny story about that?
Yeah.
It's not IML, but I got lured into this MLM.
Yeah.
And I went to this event, and I forgot what they were selling. It might have been beauty products, something so stupid. And so I go to this event, and I'm sitting there, and I'm feeling super locked in. I'm feeling super focused, like super dialed in. I go there, and I'm watching this thing, and my hostess or whoever this is, I turn to him, and I go to him, and I'm like, this is absolute bullshit. He's like, I will go on that stage right now and I will be as passionate and sell everyone just as well as this guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not ready yet. You can't do that. I'm like, bro, you
have
chairman. No idea, man. Like, this is not what you think it is. Like, this is super easy because they're just basically scamming people.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like insane what they're doing. And they think that you need to go through this learning process to motivate people to do, like, they're pushing lies and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is terrible. So I left. I walked out. I was like, bro, like, I'll see you later.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy to me how like they get away with it too. Like at such a large scale. Like some of these MLMs are doing like like the ones now I see now, everyone's like a fucking travel agent. Have you seen that? Like,
I mean, there's a lot of them.
yeah, I know.
Depends what you're clicking on, your algorithm.
Yeah, I guess, right?
Yeah.
No, that's what I see. It's like the trader. It's like all the same people that used to do IML that I see. They now are like doing.
Oh, they're doing travel.
That's yeah.
Travel stuff
They've all
now.
migrated. IML's burnout.
I mean, listen, when you talk about finance and you talk about the system, I'm not someone who knows it as intimately. I'm not as well versed on it. But the system, when it comes to the banking system and printing money and, you know, debt, and then the people that are in debt, you know, needing to be bailed out, and then them printing more money in order to bail these people out to pay the interest of money that was previously owed. Like, it's this endless system of, I don't want to call it a pyramid scheme, but it's some type of scheme.
Yeah, everything is, though.
That's going on here. And they're just like, as long as it keeps running, and as long as there's actors that are accumulating debt and actors that are accumulating profit, and we can keep the idea of it, keep the belief in the idea of it, we can keep it going. And that's a microcosm of that is having something like an MLM.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, literally. So, you know, you got into trading from C&Q and just kind of like, you know, getting, and you got a taste of what you wanted, and then you got a taste of like, okay, the markets, this is a little bit harder than I thought. So from there, like to now, like, you know, you've done a lot of crazy stuff, bro. You have pretty much, I mean, they judge prop firm size now by like search fund. Nobody really knows, you know what I mean? So it's like you know what I'm saying? But I mean, you guys are killing it. Like, I mean, seeing how much you guys have paid out, what is it? Like the last time I saw something was like $120 million or something, right?
Yeah.
Just fucking
Yeah,
massive.
It's at 130.
Dude. That's massive,
now,
bro.
yeah.
So how do you go
crazy.
from the kid that is, you know, like, fuck this, I'm not going to the rat race and I'm going to trade, to now you have a company that's paid out $130 million to traders? Like, how do you?
Yeah, I think for me, and I reflect on this a lot, it all comes down to how I feel about myself. It comes down to my daily decisions and how I built myself up to have confidence. I think at one point, or not I think, I know at one point in my life I had very little confidence. And it wasn't like confidence in myself, it was like my system, you know, in terms of my operating system, how I lived my life. I didn't have a very good operating system. I didn't have a very good belief system. And I was able to learn a belief system from somebody actually in like a martial arts teacher of mine. He taught me how to have hope, how to not only have hope, but to work really fucking hard to get what you want. And he kind of made something click for me. And that's the foundation of everything that I do. So the company and the success that I've had is really just a product of my belief system, my confidence, my ability to curate and create my confidence on a daily basis, to have a high level of energy. You know, I'm someone that, like everyone else, I'm a human being. I go up and down, but I've been able to sustain an extremely high level of energy, high level of focus, high level of commitment. And I think all of that as well, a combination that all combines with my passion for the industry. So I'm extremely passionate about the product, extremely passionate about my, you know, career or my task, my purpose. And I think that a mix of all of that is how you get this tsunami, which is the funded trader, right? And Easton now and everything like that. Just the compounding of all these things turns into this. Yeah.
Dude, I fucking love it, man. I love it. What kind of martial arts was it?
It was funny story about that. So it was, he was black belt in jiu-jitsu and like karate and like the traditional martial arts. I actually didn't do martial arts though.
Right.
I went to his school for, I had an injury, a neck injury. And I went there, he was also doing rehabilitation. So I was getting rehab from him, doing kettlebell training, resistance training, band work, just foundational movements. And I did try to do martial arts. I participated in jiu-jitsu, and my second class, I'm sounding like a pussy. My second class, I snapped my pinky.
Dude.
Doing a roll in the warm up. I snapped my pinky in half. And then he's like, keep going. I'm like, bro, like this ain't for me. Dog.
Yeah, no. I came in for rehab. I got injured again.
And like my neck was all fucked up. I'm like, I ain't come here to get injured. Bro. I'm coming here to like get better.
I never heard of someone breaking
Then I ended up, I actually
rehab.
became an instructor for the kettlebell. I got certified. You know, I did the whole thing. And I was teaching group classes there. And then that was the foundation of my life at the time. Like I was 21. I just graduated college. I was at a low point. I started doing that. I was going to him 3 times a week, you know, teaching, working out, and he built my confidence up. And he's trained some high-level wrestlers. So I don't know if you know who Nick Soriano is, but I think won 2 national championships at one at Rutgers and then one at Michigan.
Oh, wow.
At wrestling at like 125 and 135. So he was training him, like a bunch of other dudes. So I was having him give me mindset coaching. Like he was giving me tapes on how to be like have this supreme confidence, like all this shit. And that shit worked, bro. Like it really did. Like he became a father-like figure for me. Even to this day, like I'll still reach out to him. It's unfortunate I don't live back up there. He's in Jersey, so I don't live up there, so I can't train with him. But yeah, that was like the biggest differentiator for me, is just learning that confidence from him.
Yeah, no, and I agree, man. Like, not the same, but similar for me. Like, really, I attribute my success just to discipline, and that comes from just pushing yourself to do hard shit, and that's gonna build up that rational confidence. Because a lot of people talk about like confidence, like how do you gain confidence? Like, I mean, quite honestly, a lot of people, they're not confident because they don't do shit to be confident of. You know what I mean? A lot of the time, so whenever you have something like martial arts or like fitness is what it is for a lot of people, some form of fitness, that'll build that confidence that you're then going to translate. You know, how you do anything is how you do everything a lot of the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? When it comes to mindset.
For me, it was just about learning how to be a fucking man, dude. Like, I think most boys like in the world just don't learn how to be men. And this man taught me how to be a man.
Right.
You know, and I'm still learning, like I'm still growing, I'm still young, but he ultimately taught me that. And being a man is not only the, like you're saying, doing hard shit. It's just like,
it's way more.
It's recognizing your insecurities and like working towards those to absolve what they are, right? It's being like super honest with yourself and really getting to the bottom of like, who fucking are you? Right. And then when you figure that out, that's when you unlock like a whole other side of things. But it's an endless process, man. Like life is crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Do you ever read like Stoic literature? You'd like it.
Oh yeah, I've read into it. I actually just bought like that. What is it? The Daily Stoic.
Yeah, it's actually right on that shelf. Yeah, it's at the top of the shelf. Yeah, but yeah, that's a great one. And then also like meditations. But you like that? It sounds like
meditations was hard.
It's a hard read. It's one of those reads.
I'm like reading. I'm like, do I understand how to speak English?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know, right, bro? Like, am I stupid? No. But you read it. It's one of those you got to read, and it's like you read it and you take notes, and then sometimes like, I don't know. Like the first time I read it, I was like, what the hell did I just read? Because I read too fast through it. But now it's like you can kind of like the guy who wrote Daily Stoic. He's very good, and the reason his channel has like blown up so much is he's good at like taking it and like kind of materializing it into like a real world scenario, I feel like. But yeah, you'd love that literature. I agree with you 100%. A lot of it's just being vulnerable with yourself and like being accountable and not like what a lot of young men especially now think of as like being a man. What they look up to is like quite the opposite of like being a man. You know what I mean?
What you said about accountability is huge.
Yeah,
the accountability thing. We could tie this to trading, right? As a young trader, I think you come into it and you lack accountability. For me, in the beginning stages, I think the reason that I resonate with a lot of people through TFT and through our community is that I was literally these people, right? In these people's position, taking challenges, trying to get payouts, like trying to judge firms for them fucking people over, right? Like all that stuff. And very early on in my trading journey, it was very much a lack of accountability of myself, of when you're losing positions, when you're not sticking to a strategy, right? When you're just simply not doing the work that you should be doing, journaling, all that stuff, right? I did not have the accountability to do that. So I actually have a question for you. Do you actually feel like trading is something that can be done casually, or do you feel like you have to have a ton of passion to actually make it in trading?
I think that you have to have passion to learn it. I think, at least for me, like because it's definitely not something you're just gonna learn like overnight, or at least for me, it wasn't. Now, as far as like to continue trading, like once you're successful in trading, I feel like it almost becomes like boring. Like the big purpose in trading for me was like going through the journey and learning it. And then you think once you learn it, you think it's gonna be like this like heroic fucking party when you're trading, like, oh, we just hit it. And then it becomes like super boring, honestly, and it's not fulfilling. So that's why, like I get into other business, like content creation, education, like that's where I get fulfillment from. So it's just like, you're going to get more fulfillment than building teams, building systems, building companies, and
it's the people.
Yeah, the people.
Trading
exactly.
is lacking, you don't get connection to other people.
Yep. And then it's a chart. It's a cool hustle, and like I love it, but at the same time, like, is my passion like trading? Like, do I trade and enjoy trading? Yes, but it's like I don't get fulfillment. Like, I'm not gonna make money and be like, oh, that felt. You know what I mean? Like I think that dude, that FTMO dude, I think he loves it. Which one?
The Bernard, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Like he's the type of guy that's living and breathing and dying.
I haven't really watched any of his stuff. I know he's kind of new to the scene as of recent events, but I haven't really looked too much into him. He seems legitimate. I mean, obviously he's legitimate, but I'm interested to see if, kind of how he starts making content and stuff.
Like I wonder if because me, I don't believe I had enough passion to truly make trading a legitimate like source of income.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I was passionate enough because I just simply wouldn't do like the things that I needed to do.
Like journaling, like actually holding it.
And I wasn't good. I didn't have a lot of talent. Like I naturally am impulsive, right? Like I naturally have greed, like fear, like I'm very like I can be very emotional. And I wasn't passionate enough to tame that. Like I didn't care enough to tame it. I was pretty break even. Like I had passed a bunch of FTMO challenges. I had gotten a few payouts, but I was a break even trader. Like I really wasn't that great of a trader. So yeah, I think that like passion is something that is extremely important if you're gonna get to like a serious level.
100% agree. And like it's like that's what I was saying, like the journey you have to, because like you said, to do all the stuff that it really takes, like because traders, I think a lot of them, they think that they're passionate about trading, but they're really passionate about the goal, like of like what they're gonna get. So it's like, you talk to most traders, like I work with a ton of traders, like in education, and almost always the people who are like, oh, I'm struggling, I just don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, like what is it that you are doing? And they never can explain it. I'm like, okay. So like, let's say if you have a business and you have like, you have no QuickBooks, you have no data on your business, and you're just blowing money into these, whatever investment, which is a challenge. You don't know what the investment is gonna, even return, if it's even gonna return. But like, how long are you just gonna do that until you realize and step back, like, I have a shit business. You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, like when you put it that way, it makes sense. Like, yeah, because that's how you actually do this. You know what I mean? And then a lot of people, they don't want to do that.
Doesn't that come back to though? So how you do one thing is how you do everything. So
100%.
I think that a product of that is simply that people at its core lack a framework for their lives. They lack a framework for their daily lives, for their weeks, for their months. They have no strategy when it comes to how they're going to take care of their health, how they're going to take care of their ability to learn, how they're going to take care of their relationships. And not to say that I'm like an expert at all of this, but something that I recognize in and of myself is I'm building like what my values are. I'm building a framework of how I'm going to improve across a spectrum of different skills in my daily life. And so, yeah, I feel like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So anyone that's worked with me at TFT or at Easton, they know that I like to be very systematic. I like to, like, if there's an idea and someone's like, hey, there's this new content idea that I want to do. I'm like, well, are we going to create a template? Are we going to upload this strategy document? Have you thought through every single action that we need to take for this idea? I'm always very repetitive because it's great if we execute on something today, but what happens over the next 3 months?
Or at scale.
Yeah. So, if we aren't trying to plan ahead, and obviously with TFT, talk about at scale, things are scaling pretty dramatically. So I'm becoming someone who's learning quite intimately about how to do all these things. But yeah, how you do one thing is how you do everything, whether it's trading, whether it's taking care of your health, whether it's like learning how to read or learning how to swim or whatever it may be. You need to have a strategy.
Yeah, and like that's why I think trading will make a lot of people either a much worse person or a much better person, in the sense that like if they do have the passion for it, and a lot of people getting in trading are pretty young. A lot of young people don't really have that structure like you're talking about, and in order to succeed at trading, you need that. So that's why you see a lot of people, like a lot of the best traders you see, they're dialed with fitness, they're dialed with their habits, they're dialed with how they spend their time. Not all, but a lot of the people. So I think that, it can kind of help you with that framework. So you said like basically with trading, you just realize like, hey, this may not be for me, but I have passion for the industry. So yeah. So, and like going from, the trader Angelo to the CEO Angelo, what kind of like operations experience did you have before TFT? Because that's like a monstrous. I mean, I run ops of my companies, and they're not at the scale of TFT for sure. And I'm just imagining, like, I mean, obviously you have a really big team, but how do you just learn all that on the fly? Do you learn it in between with other businesses, or like how did that happen?
So between me being a trader and me starting TFT, there's obviously the story of everything that happened in between, right? So I was working in IT operations at a pharmaceutical company that did not teach me at scale how to run TFT, right? But it did teach me, like, in terms of how they were managing certain aspects of. I was in the marketing and sales division, so how are they going about running automations for websites? How are they going about compliance checks for email campaigns that were going to be coming out with? How did they go about like managing user permissions across like the Salesforce organization, right? So I learned a little bit, right, in my early in my career. And then I also had a role in what was called like this, I think it was like the financial systems innovation team. So I was working within that team, and the department I was working with was controlling. So we were going through a lot of costs amongst all the business sectors, and I was working with stakeholders to understand what their needs were, what KPIs they wanted to see, and then we were building dashboards, and I was communicating it to those stakeholders. So there's more to that experience, but that was to an extent my experience in like the corporate world, and I was using my corporate job to really just learn how certain people in certain roles were going about their day-to-day and going about all the different systems that they were working on. And then I was trying to relate that and build my Forex community, right? So I was building Forex League. I had partnered with Nick at the time. He was a trader who had actually made some money. He relatively knew what he was doing. So we came together because I was someone who was always going to be super organized, who was always going to be committed to learning, and I was going to basically, run the operations, and then he was going to be the influencer, right? So he was going to influence, he was going to make the content, he was also going to do the trading materials and stuff like that. So through Forex League, like in a microcosm, I wouldn't say it was like a wildly successful business. It was a successful business to the extent of it stayed alive and it made money, but it didn't scale, right, like crazy. Through that, I started to really learn how to, run a very small business with doing the QuickBooks and write-offs, and then dealing with customers day to day and order fulfillment and all that stuff, managing expectations. I built like a very small team at the time, started networking through that. So that was the microcosm of it. And then obviously with starting TFT, I think the reason that I've been able to sustain and we're almost at 3 years now with TFT. So the reason I've been able to your point, make this like quantum leap in a way is it's just a product of I had quit my job. I was all in on Forex League. So I was committed to learning everything I needed to learn to run that company and to try to scale that company. And then the funded trader became my next business opportunity that I wanted to take risk on, that I believed in. And from day one, I was not doing anything else. Like I was just learning constantly about our systems, about other companies' systems, about vendors that we could be working with, how to improve certain aspects of the product, right? I was just all in on learning, and I was doing the work, right? Like I wasn't doing a lot of this like other bullshit that people think helps you learn, right? I was just literally doing the work all day. Like I was just showing up, doing the work, and I was just learning on the job, man. I was relying on my peers, relying on my partner. I was letting him play his role. I was playing my role. I was doing a lot of networking and trying to learn from other people as well. And just the compounding idea of that 1% better every single day. And, that's how we got to where we're at now. That doesn't mean that TFT is like by any means the gold standard of how to run a business. I came into this never running a business that had done over, X amount of revenue, 9 figures or 10 figures, whatever in revenue. So there's definitely ways that it could have been done differently and things that could have been improved upon. But I'm definitely proud of where we got to and where we're at now. It's not perfect, but it works. And that's what's important.
Yeah.
I think that's what people fail to realize. You have to execute. That's what actually matters.
100%, man. And congratulations, bro. That's inspiring to a lot of people. That because I feel like a lot of people, they look at like these big businesses or big operations. They think like, oh, they must have had some easy way or some like, experience. Somebody gave them the game, and it's just like, no, like you learn it by doing. So I think that, and I think most people do. And I agree with you 100%. Like most of the shit that people think is going to make them better or make them good at something, like it may give you a framework to then go out and do it and learn by doing, but the kind of lessons you need to learn in order to scale companies, in order to really just be the best you can be, you don't learn those anywhere else than doing them. Like trading, right? Like you can buy a course on trading, but if you don't know how to implement what you've learned, the knowledge is useless, you know?
Yeah. I'm sure you see that with a lot of people who come through the training program. They buy your course, right? They're not in a good state of mind. They don't operate with like any type of mental clarity. And then they're blaming you. They're blaming the system. They're blaming the window, like the rain at the window, right? They're blaming everything for their misfortune. And yeah, man, I was just, for me and anyone out there that has an opportunity, if you're ready and you get the right opportunity, you get lucky, right? You get that right thing, that right play, and you're ready, you're gonna take it to that level, right? So figure out how to get ready, and then like just take risk.
Positioning's huge, right?
Yeah.
Like being in the right place at the right time, not by just luck. I mean, there's always a little element of luck, I guess, but like, putting in the work to getting yourself to those positions. So with TFT or just prop firms in general, I think this is a question a lot of people are always asking. I know people ask me all the time, right? Because a lot of people that I coach, like some people, believe it or not, they don't even understand props yet. Like they understand what they are. Mm-hmm. They don't understand, they understand, hey, if I can trade, I can get more money to trade with. That's basically right. But what they all ask me, like from an outside perspective looking in, or even people in the industry already, is like, what is going on with props? Like where are props going? Because, we have people scared after the whole MFF thing. We have regulations, which, could be good or bad. So, as somebody who definitely is knowledgeable on it, I mean, what do you think on that topic?
I think that it's important to separate the monogram or not the acronym, but just the moniker that you're using. Mm-hmm. So a prop firm traditionally is a company that either aggregates data or aggregates traders, and through those traders, they're choosing to give them more capital to trade with. They have a risk manager who's monitoring all their positions, right? Monitoring all their capital, what size they're using, their track record, right? How they're performing, and then they're choosing how to, manage those people. What we're doing is like way different, right? It's not. It was named prop firms because FTMO originally named it the Modern Prop Firm. Right?
Yeah.
So it kind of took on that name from an early state, and there was a lot of misguidedness. People were to an extent misled to the extent of thinking, and even me, when going back to FTMO, I thought I was getting to an extent like 100,000 in capital.
Same here.
So I'm someone who's in a very similar position. So people from the get-go were just kind of misconstrued in terms of what they were getting into, and this is deeper than props or evaluation firms, right? This is way deeper than this. It just comes down to like brokerage houses and how brokerages operate, and the money that displays on your account, and even the money that displays in your bank account, right? Like you look at your bank account right now. I know you're seeing maybe like 20 million, I don't know, but like you look at your bank account right now, and are those zeros on a screen, or is that money sitting in a safe with your name on it?
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
no,
there's not like money sitting on like, oh no, there's gold sitting in the fucking, the vault.
Yeah,
like,
right.
No, bro.
Like what happened to FTX? Like if people try to bank run on the banks, the same thing could happen.
Yeah.
To
so
everybody.
the system in and of itself is built on, I take some of your money, and then I lend some money to someone else, and then they go and they buy something, and then they deposit that money into the bank, and then it comes back to me. And it's just this dance of how do we maintain enough liquidity to keep this idea going that the next person that comes to us that wants some money can get that money out. Right. So that's the financial system generally. I mean, I'm
in a nutshell,
conspirizing, right?
I don't even think it's a conspiracy. I feel like you could probably.
It's my opinion. It's my royal opinion. But no, I think that
the kingdom.
When it comes to brokerages, the zeros on the screen, your bank account zeros on the screen, prop accounts or evaluation accounts zeros on the screen. I just think people were misled, and I think MFF exposed how serious it was, how serious it is to mislead customers, and to be saying the wrong thing. Like the U.S. does not play when it comes to that, for several reasons, but they don't play when it comes to that. So the whole modern prop thing, it's an evaluation company. The company in and of itself is a game, right?
Yeah.
And the game and the dance that's being played, generally, at least on the evaluation side, and this is how, again, this is my opinion. I don't know exactly how every business operates, but this is from what I understand from running 6 of these companies and how we've gone about learning about this industry and being as early as we were. It's a game. You try to create the game in a way where there's more coming in than going out. Generally that's what it is. And there's a bigger play to be made with all the data, but at the same time, the data is very messy. The data is coming from these third-party brokers that are all doing different things, right? So it's quite difficult to try to extract some type of alpha out of the data that is being collected. Not to say that it's not possible, and that's certainly the mission of our company, and I believe a lot of some of these other reputable companies, it's the mission for them as well, right? So yeah, the evaluation firm, which is really what it is, what the funded trader is, it's a game that's set up. There's challenge revenue coming in. There's payouts going out. There's on the prop trading side, on the prop firm side, for us that's offshore. The idea is that you share the data between the evaluation company and the prop trading company, and the prop trading company is then able to monetize and ultimately cover all the payouts. So the payouts are coming inherently from the prop trading entity. But if you don't have enough money in trading, income, if you don't have enough money being generated here, then ultimately you're doing some type of share with either the revenue from the funded trader or my bakery or something, right? Like I'm making deposits into essentially in the books this proprietary trading company to help cover the expenses of buying all this data. And listen, if you can't monetize the data, it's not to say it's a bad deal, but for the consumer, it is the best deal because you're getting paid out 80%, 90% on your money, on whatever you make on the account, this simulated account. And it's our job to maintain our books. It's our job to maintain the balance of cash in and cash out. It's not your money, right? That's at stake. It's obviously your sign up fees is your money, but in terms of what's in that trading account, it's all simulated and all of that. So yeah, the evaluation firm, very much challenge revenue. The costs are going to be your operational costs, your vendor costs, if you have third-party vendors, your payouts, obviously. And then the goal, of all firms, including FTMO, is to leverage the data, do some type of quantitative analysis, and to figure out how to use that to make a lot of fucking money. And I don't, in my opinion, think that code has been concretely cracked yet. I think we're moving in the direction of it is, but I think when that happens, basically whatever firm that cracks that code, they're gonna almost make the challenge free, because it's almost just gonna be a data farm. Yeah, they're just gonna be farming the data, and they're gonna want as many people as possible. They won't make it free just because there's an element of the psychological element of you pay for this. But it's gonna be they're gonna give crazy conditions that whoever is not trading is not gonna be able to match.
Yeah. So awesome points, first off. And I think that a lot of people don't necessarily understand how the evaluation model works, and as a really good explanation, even entry level. So touching on the data side of things. So the way that I understand, or that I would look at it, is okay, if data is the main goal, I know myself, I don't trade funded accounts the same way I would trade, let's say if I was trading my own money, or if I was trading, let's say if I had an offer to manage that amount of capital for a prop firm, right? We've got the nomenclature right. So how, and I don't know how much you go into this, but how do you determine, okay, what data is good data, what data is bad data? Because a lot of people are making money from prop firms. They're being a lot more aggressive, evaluation things, that they're making a lot more aggressive. And then touching on the point of making it free or very low cost, I'm guessing part of the reason to, other than covering overhead and stuff and just obvious business motivation, other than, charging the small fee, would that be just to hold them more accountable so they would give better data? Is that what was... I think two questions at once, but
I think when it comes down to, I'm trying to draw an analogy. I think if, let's say you own a home, right, and you have appliances in your home, and you bought those appliances, you have insurance on them, right? You're going to take care of those things a little bit more than if you rent an apartment and you don't own those appliances. You maybe like kick the door when you're done with it or something, right? Like you're not going to be as frugal or as careful with those things. So when you're invested, right, when you're more invested into something, you're obviously going to take better care of it. You're going to be more conservative, and you're going to just be more honest, I guess. So from a data play, not to say that you can harvest data from many sources and many things, right? So not to say that if it was entirely free, there wouldn't be a way to find some type of way to make money with that data. There could be, but I think for the general idea of at least where we're at and where we're going and where we think it could be most profitable, is there being still an element of the challenge fee associated with this. I think it creates this barrier to entry. We're potentially getting consumers from a different demographic, and that's kind of what we're going for. So you're creating that barrier to entry, and so it will change the data. Like, not to say that like this, it will be better data or worse data. It's just data that we're more interested in.
Makes sense. Yeah. So one thing too about the evaluation model is, let's say, like you said, a lot of the reputable firms, their goal is data monetization, right? So let's say for some of these guys that they got hype, they saw the business model, they came in, and then with the kind of the gold rush, so to speak, they ran up a bunch of sales. But while they did that, they accumulated a bunch of funded profitable traders, right? And then we start to see some firms now that you're consistently seeing them like denying payouts, and we don't ever know the story behind it, but I think we all know, we see some firms, like you'll see a more consistent thing of kind of flavor of the month of this firm doesn't, there's always having some kind of drama. So I look at it as, at some point, I feel like if sales were to plummet enough for some of these companies, if they're not looking at it with that long-term vision, like what you're speaking of, I think that the risk of implosion, if they're completely mismanaging it, is very real. So what would you think? Because obviously it's speculation, right? And it's not to fearmonger or make anybody think that evaluations aren't safe, because there's tons of good companies, like you said. And I think that people that are in the industry know which companies those are. They're reputable ones. Like you guys have paid out $120 million. There's multiple other companies that are great to go with. But for those that maybe are at risk, or would you say that any of them are at risk?
I think that, listen, it's business, right? The model is risky. There's everybody's at risk, right? I think every single company is at risk unless there's a huge element of data monetization, right? Really, that's the truth. So, do I think that FTMO is looking at these things? Right? I think every company is trying to manage risk, right? Risk is part of any business, at least any, financial institution, any financial business. So, are these companies doing the wrong thing by trying to get into this niche and, make money? No, but if they don't have a risk department, right? If they have no way to kind of audit their payouts, like even as far as their payment processing, even as far as like their KYC stuff, right? If they're not trying to operate in a way that's compliant whatsoever, right? Then, they're doing a disservice to the community. They're doing a disservice to their people, to the industry, by operating. We know they're out there, right? It's just like the general nature of this niche. And it's, crypto is very similar. There's just like a ton of IPOs, ton of shit coins, right? So NFTs. it's gonna happen here where there's money, there's gonna be greedy people, right? There's gonna be people trying to fuck people over. And yeah, I think I'm not passionate. I know some people are pretty passionate about coming on and they're like, oh, this firm, that bans a ton of traders. Like, they're a piece of shit.
Like their whole brand is just like victimizing shit. I hate that shit.
They're like, I hate this company. Like, I try not to, kind of
entertain
get in confliction as that much. Like I do to an extent, because this industry is hard not to. Yeah. But like I try not to because at the end of the day, like I don't know what these people are going through. I don't know what they're thinking, right? I don't know what things they're dealing with. There could be many things involved with banning traders, honestly. It can be an internal dispute amongst the partners, right? It could be related to the technology. The technology is not functioning correctly. It could be related to payment processing and their money being held for whatever reason because they did a shit job communicating what their product was to the banks, right? And then obviously it could be related to trading. They could be trading and losing a shit ton of money on their on the trading data and making a lot of mistakes. So, there's a lot of factors that go into banning traders. Like, I think when the community thinks about they're banning traders, they're just like, oh, their CEO is just sitting in his room like, what Louis bag am I gonna buy?
Yeah.
Like fuck Johnny S on Twitter. He got a big payout. Like let's fuck this guy. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a little bit deeper than that. Like they're trying. I would like to think that they're trying. I mean, maybe there's some firms that are legit sitting there like smoking stogies, like fuck this guy. But I would hope that that generally people are trying. Like I can confidently say that we are trying, right, to do the best that we can. Do we ban traders? Do we deny payouts? Yes, like it happens.
Of course. Any firm that doesn't, you should worry about
the biggest issue right now with TFT, honestly, is that it just got so big. Like it got so big and it's outgrowing the technology to an extent. That's the biggest trouble. And this is like a forewarning to any of the other firms. There's so many parts of the business. Like at one point we had issues with the broker, right? We were overgrowing the broker and we didn't have enough capacity on the server. And then like every day we're getting these login errors for traders and execution errors because every time people executed at New York session, there was so many people executing and the server would literally time out because like so many people were trying to take actions at one time. Right? It's like trying to run a fucking Xbox game on a, old PC or whatever. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so like that's an issue that we've dealt with and like it's just going to continue to happen. So like right now we're just kind of like what we've been doing is we've been trying to rethink everything, the technology, the broker, like our banking situations, and how do we get ahead of this? Because we've done such a great job at marketing and such a great job at connecting with people and paying people that they've rewarded us by us growing like a fucking weed. But now it's like, holy shit, sometimes in business, if you overgrow, that's not good. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So we're in a position now where we've gone through periods where we've overgrown and we've had to contract and we've overgrown and we've had to contract. So we're in this position right now where it's like we need to reevaluate the technology, like the broker, like everything to rethink. Because if we're going to get from a 9-figure business or whatever it is, right, to a 10-figure business or 11-figure business, we're gonna need like crazy systems. So yeah, just anybody that's running these prop firm owners that are so young and trying to do this thing and they're like doing 10 payouts a week and they're like, oh, you're gonna get paid so fast here other than TFT. I'm just like, wait to see what's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have no idea what the fuck's about to happen. If you grow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, for sure, man. Yeah, I appreciate the transparency, and I'm sure everybody watching does too, because it's like it's nice for, like you said, whenever I first started prop trading. I mean, I at first I thought I was like, oh, okay, this is the $100,000 in the account. And then I kind of thought about it. I was like, no, there's no way. I was like, I'm adding the things, but I think a lot of people, I think there's a lot of people that don't understand it. So it's super interesting to hear about it. So and there's so many hurdles, I bet, because even like what I do, like coaching, like payment processing can be hard. Like, and I know recently, like Deal, like I pay my employees through Deal, right? Like not like traders, and they're like on my ass all the time. Is this a evaluation company? Because it has
Deal.
Yeah, Deal.
Really?
But I pay contractors through it just for.
They crack down.
Yeah, super hard. So like I know that that probably creates difficulties like payment processing, paying out, all this stuff.
If you're listening to this Deal, thanks. That's all I got to say.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm sure. And wherever problems arise with enough of a movement involved, like there's always going to be another solution. Yeah, I think everybody was like, "Oh, this is the end of the world." Whenever, it's like the fear, like everybody thought the nuclear bomb's coming after MFF. Everyone's Twitter was like in flames. Yeah, and I was like, guys, like,
well, things don't end unless belief ends, right?
Yeah.
So if there's belief and there's a model, there's an appetite for something, there's a want or desire or need, it will never end. So people thinking the industry is going to get cut off and end, like it is just the beginning. This thing is growing. It's new. It's going to evolve. It's going to infiltrate, or it's going to impress upon other industries and other factors of our lives. It's going to be here for sure.
No, and I think trading is just now, after COVID and with COVID, like there's so much more interest in trading. You know what I mean? Like as somebody who was in like the internet money space before, I was in trading.
Internet money.
Yeah, right. Like people like there's like e-com, FBA, and all this other stuff. And then I got trading was what I did, what I went with. And then now I realize I'm like talking to people and they're like, no, trading's like the thing right now. And I'm like, a lot of that's probably to do from prop trading or from evaluation trading.
Yeah, crypto had a huge part of it as well.
That's how I got in, was crypto.
But the prop trading is definitely, it changes the game, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't. I had that moment when I found out and learned about FTMO, where I was sitting at my desk at my job taking signals. And I had that moment where I was like, this is my ticket out.
Yeah, exactly.
Matrix. This is the way. Like, you're telling me that I can bet on myself and I can showcase my skills and that I will be rewarded. And it's I've said this many times, it's meritocracy, right? It's a meritocratic system in the sense that the people that have the skills that perform and that want and have the desire to move up in the society, they ultimately will be rewarded. The people that can't learn, the people that don't have the dedication and discipline, they'll just remain where they're at. And I very much believe in that. And this provides that lane and that opportunity. And I think it's very different than capitalism. And I think people are, to an extent, sick of capitalism.
Yeah, it's more accessible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To like anybody, like you said, if somebody wants to rise up and put in the work and they have the passion for it enough to stay disciplined and dedicated through all the hardship that comes with trying to learn a trade, people, like, they have the best opportunity in history with prop firms. That's why I hate, like, this people like we were talking about, they just victimize everything. Their just whole brand is like, exposing and all this. And it's like, dude, like, if you took a trader from like 20 years ago that, maybe had to come up from like trading very small capital or something, and then they looked at now, they're like, you guys are like spoiled. You know what I mean? You can just go pay $1,000 and you can get 200.
Insane.
Yeah, or that. They're like, it's funny, explaining, like, we went to my girl's family and they've asked me multiple times, they're like, so what is it exactly you do? I bet you get that too. I mean, they probably don't understand by now, but
yeah. I just look at them like really confused, like an alien. Like, what?
It's like, anyways, no, it was hilarious, dude. We were at her family's house and we stayed over there, and I came out of the shower and I could hear on the TV, it was like my voice, like the ICT fair value gap. Like, grandma's in there watching. I was like, oh my God.
Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Shit was so funny.
They're like, our son has become a meme.
Yeah, no. Dude, it was hilarious. And they were like, this is really interesting. I mean, I have no idea what you're saying, but like, I want to learn. And I was like, I don't know, maybe.
Well, it's crazy that traditionally when they were growing up, there wasn't a lane or an opportunity for them to become that independent in terms of their thought. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of group thinking back then. They were being manipulated by the media, or not manipulated, but influenced by the mass media, right? Like, that had a huge presence in terms of what people believed in and how they moved and whatnot. And yeah, there just wasn't that much of an opportunity unless you were like an artist or something to create like a crazy lane for yourself. So you're out here creating a really, like, operating a lot of agency, like you're creating a self-sustaining life, and you have these things that you believe in, and now you're communicating those things and those beliefs to other people, to someone from another generation. Like, that is a very foreign concept.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly what it is, because it's just so infatuating, and it's just something that's so admirable for somebody from their time to look at, and they really appreciate that more. You know what I mean? Than people now, because now it's normal. Like, everybody is a YouTuber or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, for us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's normal now.
Yeah. But if you're not doing it, we're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was crazy. I have a buddy who... What's up, guys? I'm happy to have you on the Market Moguls Podcast, and I wanted to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by TRADEZELLA. TRADEZELLA is the all-in-one trading software that all traders should have. It covers everything from journaling to backtesting. You can even track all of your KPIs, like your average risk to reward, your average profit per trade, and many other important data points that every trader should know.
After all, if you're not treating trading like a business, then it probably will not pay you like one will. If you want to try TRADEZELLA today, you can get a 15% discount by using the code CASPER15 at the link in the description.
He does like all my video stuff, and he was showing me statistics. And I believe it because like my daughter, she's 6, and she thinks what I do is like the coolest thing as far as the YouTube stuff. Like, of course, she doesn't understand the trading, but like even at 6, they're all like kids are talking about like content creation,
Right?
Which is insane to me. I'm like, I don't know if that's good or bad. You know what I
There's
mean?
kids that are programming at such a young age. They're cultivating skills from a very young age. Ultimately,
Fortnite, and then they just become a
whether it's through video games or whatever, whatever it is, right? So
that's how it was for me, bro.
Kids are becoming like cyborgs.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Students gonna be like the Apple glasses. They're just gonna like in China. Have you seen like they have like the fucking VR headsets and like augmented reality in classes now? In some classes, crazy.
Oh, bro,
stuff.
They're already cloning people. Come on.
Yeah,
don't play.
Dude,
games.
I was gonna say, come on.
Yeah.
They have shit
we won't
know
get
about.
into that. We'll save it for another podcast. But
Oh man, that was like me and Renzo's. We talked about it. It was hilarious.
Oh my god, King Renzo.
That shit was funny, man. But
you did a podcast with Renzo?
yeah, like literally earlier today.
Oh, today. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, man. But so touching on something else like that, I think my audience specifically would be interested in. And I don't know if there's any way you guys can track this. I mean, I know you guys fly out a lot of your really most profitable traders and talk to them. Like, would you say that ICT is the best way to trade from? And I know it's kind of a subjective question, but like from your experience with a lot of traders, a lot of data, you've seen a lot. Like, would you say it's the best way?
Well, it's tough because we're not, in terms of what features we're looking at in the data set. We could be looking at like net P&L over X amount of time. We could be looking at net position size during the course of one day. We could be looking at the margin utilization, pairs that they trade, right? Like how long they hold accounts for, how long they hold positions for. So the features that are being engineered by the data team, and I want to be very clear, I personally am not on the data team. Like I'm just an observer of the entire company. So I don't oversee the data team. So I don't work with them day to day. But in terms of what we're looking at, like we're not carving out like an ICT profile.
Yeah, of course.
So it's tough to say. I mean, if I were to just generally speak upon people who've gotten paid and who've done interviews and who I've spoken with, not getting into like the whole data set, the majority of interviews have been ICT traders. The majority of traders that I've spoken to that seem to know what the hell they're talking about are ICT traders. And whether that comes from, whatever his name is, Michael, whether it comes from his teachings, or I mean, I guess it comes from his teachings, right? Yeah,
There's somebody like me that's
he's
like
ICT,
taking his,
or you, yeah,
taking
or like an all
consolidated.
the coaching tree.
It's
of
from
ICT.
Originally from like the source, because like people like what I do, like I always think it's hilarious when people will take something and then they'll like name it something else. It's like just say where you got it from, because it's still providing value to somebody. Because okay, like if you want to know from ICT, like that's what I did. Go watch it. It's going to take you a long time, and then there's going to be a plethora of different methods of implementation, right? So like the value that a lot of these people are providing, if they do it correctly, is saying, hey, you could go learn this, all of it, and come up with your own strategy and your own system, or you can use what I have used and what I've proven works for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I think that comes in, and that's where a lot of these people, like you said, the coaching tree. It's like, but I think it's also interesting too, and I'm sure this is the same for ICT. Like, but the more that I teach, the better I trade.
Of course,
it makes, and it's just like any kind of craft. I feel like you just put it in, whenever you put it in a different perspective, and you kind of like almost learn lessons about yourself vicariously through others, even though it's like a lesson you learned a long time ago. Whenever it forces you to compartmentalize it and verbalize it in a way that you wouldn't if you weren't.
It's kind of like his podcast studio, right? If he just had a podcast studio but he didn't do the production, he wouldn't learn anything about podcasts,
right?
Podcasts and podcast studio, but he would have a studio, like a cool studio. So to an extent, he'd have credibility, but he wouldn't actually know what the hell is going on. So through him doing the production himself, then he's learning and saying, oh, I should tweak the lights. Oh, I should get this new setup. Oh, the user's like this, right? Or, oh, like my strategy to get new clients should be around this because this is what people find most valuable. So obviously being in the weeds, right? Obviously being in the mix is going to improve your ability to process information, your ability to, your experience, like overall. So yeah, I'm someone who's very much a proponent of teaching anything. I think that teaching is really important, whether it's trading. In my case, it was when I was doing those group fitness, like the kettlebell classes. Like to this day, I could go and I could run someone through a class because I had done it for 3 years, and I'm very proud of that and like very fulfilled through that activity. And I became a much higher level in terms of what I knew because of that. So yeah, I think, anyone that's like, oh, why is this person teaching trading? It's like you are going to become a better trader, better at anything through being.
I can take my years of lessons and consolidate them into a program for you that you can benefit off of learning from my mistakes. Like these people literally will, why would you think that's free? Like they think the ICT has always been free. ICT, he made like, I think they say over like 10 million from.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
I know he used to charge.
But yeah. And a lot of people think it was free, right? They think like, oh, this, he's just like this good Samaritan and he is. I'm not trying to downtalk, but like he made money off that at one point.
Of course. I mean,
yeah.
It got to the point though, I think he realized that
it was pirated so much.
when you become as influential as he's become, it's more profitable for him not to sell something.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he has planned, right?
A book.
Yeah, like whatever. Whatever he has planned, like there is a bigger product play to make, and he's preparing for that play, right? Everything he does, not to say that it's scripted, it's just well thought out.
He's a master marketer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dude, master like level. And I'm like, some people be like, you really think that? I'm like, do you really not? Like what?
How you do one thing is how you do everything, bro. So
Yeah,
if he's
dude.
a master at this, like he must be, whether it's trading or it could be something else, like he definitely carries himself in that way throughout other facets of his life.
Yeah.
Like you don't execute the way that this guy is executed on his Twitter strategy, on his YouTube strategy, on everything, right? On his live streams, on his content, unless you're a master at whatever that is, marketing, whatever, teaching, everything.
And nothing like, that's why it's crazy when people always like down talk and it's like, oh, he didn't really make this off trading, or oh, this and that. I'm like, dude, if you can't respect what that dude's created, whether you like him or not, you're just a fucking hater, bro.
Oh,
You know
from what
I mean?
I know today, if I was just starting out in trading, and even when people ask me, they ask me all the time, like, where should I learn trading from? Right?
Yeah.
Random people. And I just say ICT. Like,
Right.
I literally say that because I've talked to so many people that I can verify that have made money on my platform that trade ICT. I've, connected with him over Twitter several times. Like, I can get the gist of like what he's about. And I generally believe that through the people that I've talked to and through his content and material, that you can have a great foundation to actually get really good at trading. Is it going to be easy from what I see? No, it sounds like there's a ton of material that you'd have to go through, and that it's like a lot of complex topics and it's like pretty boring and it might not be like that great to go through. But if I was starting, I would definitely just use him.
It's 1.5x speed.
1.5x.
Seriously, like it's mandatory.
That's actually the truth though.
My Slack stays on 1.5 too. I have it on 1.5. It'll be like, wait.
Oh my God.
I bet your Slack's going fucking nuts.
Slack?
Dude. Yeah.
Oh my God.
God, I can't imagine. How many people do you guys have working customer service?
I don't know. I know that
a lot.
Between the funded trader and between Easton, there's combined over 200 people that are involved.
Dude, that's sick, man.
Yeah, in terms of employees in terms of employees. So, there's obviously a lot of people. We are in Slack, and yeah, Slack is crazy. What's funny is I originally hated Slack.
Yeah, you like Discord or something?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't.
Teams.
I just didn't like any of them.
Right. Yeah. You're like, fuck this.
It's like I don't want to use any of these ever in my life.
Yeah.
But we use Slack. It's been a good tool like to use to manage everything, and shout out Slack.
Right. Yeah. No, I hate it and love it. You know what I mean? It gets overwhelming, but at the same time, I love just operations. Like you were saying, like I just love systematizing things and just looking at every step of the entire process and then trying to improve and optimize every last thing and make everything as smooth as possible. Because it's like you said, like with scale, you know what I mean? Anything that's going to break is going to break way worse. The more volume, obviously, that comes into it. Like any small leaks, in the ship, they're going to get bigger and bigger. As
cracks will turn into earthquakes.
Yeah, like literally. So
Real quick.
That's my passion, right? Is just building like stuff like that. I just love doing that. So I'm sure it's interesting what you.
When you're starting a system, like where do you start when you want to build a system? Generally,
so usually I will just try to go through it like raw. Like I'm like, here, what's the end goal, right? And then I'll just kind of run through like the first iteration of like what I would think is the best. Sometimes that works well. Sometimes it doesn't. If that doesn't work, I like to just build backwards from the end game goal. And then I try to break it down and make it as clear and concise as possible, right? Like I use lucid charts a lot. I don't know if you want to. Yeah. I love lucid charts for just kind of like compartmentalizing and just putting stuff on paper, or just drawing it. Like I have a little scribe, like the little Kindle scribe. Those things are sick.
I have one too.
Yeah, I love that thing. But
I journal on that thing.
Yep, same here. And then I'll kind of just break it down as much as possible. I'm like, okay, like how can this be fixed? Like, is this essential? Can we eliminate it? How am I going to be able to delegate this? Is it easy to teach people? Okay, if it is, create a SOP, try to train people on it, record yourself doing it. And of course, like some things are more of a complex thing than just that. But in a nutshell, that's basically
that's generally what it is.
Yeah.
I'm someone that definitely, I build the best systems by doing. So if I'm very hands-on in a process, then I can really identify like where we can make optimizations. Now, when you're just starting like in smaller business, whatever, it's, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to identify these things. When you're at TFT's level, there's a lot of thought that has to go into these things, especially in a business that's live, right? So, right now we're in the process of auditing our payout operations. So we had, for the longest time, been doing it in a way that just like wasn't that scalable, and just became over time like mismanaged to an extent. So we recently actually hired, he actually started today, a new VP of operations, and he's coming on, and his first task is going to help us kind of revamp that whole thing. So for me, it's about, like you said, you mapping it out, flow charting is huge, right? What are all the key steps? What are all the key team members that can perform each of the tasks? And then in terms of like creating the SOPs, you're very, very spot on in the sense that anything that's going to be broken out and is going to end up being done by a team member being delegated to, there has to be an SOP for that. But I think step one is just thinking through everything. Step two is like doing it in a way that's more manual. And then step three, which is something that I read recently in this Elon book that resonates with me, is like the automation comes more towards the end of the cycle.
Yes.
He was saying in his book how in his factories, he tried to automate things from day one. So he tried to like build robots and everything on the assembly lines to just automate the entire process. And then he started to realize that the automation actually became a bottleneck because the process wasn't thought through enough, and they weren't optimized to the point where they would actually be doing things faster than humans. So he had to start cutting out the automation, bringing in the humans to fundamentally understand the process, ask them for the feedback because they're on the front lines, and then build the automations after further understanding all the processes and all the feedback that came through. So yeah, I think first is, mapping it out. Second is kind of doing it more manually. And then third is just trying to automate it.
Yeah. And I think that's like, that speaks volumes that even Elon went through that. Cause I think that's like a lot of people in business. Like I know myself, like a long time ago, you get all these systems and you kind of just get this like, almost like a dopamine rush from like automating everything and like making everything some kind of like grand system. And a lot of times people that are doing that, it's like the classic guy who has like the business, but it's like, it's not even a business almost. Does that, you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that Elon went through that same thing. Is that like a book that, is it?
It's an autobiography that just came out about him by Walter Isaacson. He does autobiographies on a lot of famous people. And it's a really good book, man. Like I've had some trouble recently kind of picking up books and not remaining that interested in them. And this book I've just been ripping through. Like it's actually really good.
Yeah. I'm like that right now with the Personal MBA. You ever read that book?
No.
It's a good book, man. I mean, some of it's kind of like entry level, but then, I mean, it's almost one of those books that's like a perspective shift. It's stuff you already know, but it's just hearing somebody else say it in a different way where it's like gives you ideas. But I'll have to read that one. That sounds
definitely
sick.
check it out. It's like really good.
Yeah, I went through the same thing. Like I would read, I would almost, because I got more and more into reading in the last year. And I realized, like, you know, I almost was like picking books and just started reading them. And if I didn't want to read the book, I would feel like, oh, like you got to push through it. And it's just like, that's horseshit. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like what you're reading, you're not even going to remember. I mean, even when you like what you're reading, a lot of the times, like the Kindles are nice. Like, do you, you know what Readwise is?
No.
Oh, dude, this is sick. So you know what Notion is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can link your Kindle to your Notion, and whenever you highlight, it puts them all in their own folder on Notion.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. So like it'll help you like you know, you read a book, you highlight everything, you can go back. I like going back like right after I read the book and reading all of them. Or like sometimes just reading through
That's
them.
a crazy like hack.
Yeah, dude. It's like $8 a month. You link Readwise with Notion. You can actually do it with a lot of stuff too. I don't know like the full spectrum. Yeah, Kimmel actually showed me that.
Kimmel.
Dude, Kimmel's a G, man. I love Kimmel.
That guy. He's a serious player.
Yeah, Kimmel's
I'll say that much.
Yeah, Kimmel's.
He's committed.
Yeah, I was going to say his work ethic. And a lot of people don't realize, like, bro, I remember we got those Whoops. I stopped wearing that thing. We straight up got dopamine off those things. We were fucking, dude, going crazy, bro.
Yeah, I saw that.
My girl was like, what the fuck? You guys are fucking psychopaths.
What's wrong with these people?
Bro, I was running like 7-8 miles a day. I was like, they're not going to beat me. And
yeah, Noel Kimmel was like running triathlons.
Dude, I didn't know he was bro, that was the one that was always giving me a run for my money. And it was funny because I had the advantage because they're hours ahead. So I would just wait and see where he got. And then I could just barely go past him.
Yeah.
And he would wake up and be like, bro, fuck you. You fucking wait until I would wait till like
Kimmel's
7.
very competitive.
Yeah, I know. He would be so mad because I would literally wait till I knew he was asleep and I would just go run. He would play pickleball, bro. His pickleball strain would be like 19 strain from pickleball. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, I run like 5 miles.
The intensity.
And I'm like, bro. Dude, it's actually crazy with Whoop. It made me like slow down. Like, I mean, I didn't drink a lot, but even like drinking just at like every meal or something, like, oh, you're going to go out to eat on the weekend and drink a drink. Like, the way it would mess with my sleep was crazy. Dude.
Yeah, the recovery.
Dude, bro, like,
shot.
Yeah, it was like shot, bro. And it really, because you know, you hear that and stuff, but to really see it on this thing, and you know it's not being biased because you don't tell you're drinking. I mean, you tell the next day, but then you wake up and it's like, oh, like, the fuck happened to you last night? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm like, damn.
Sleep is huge, man. Like for me, something that I've been able to do really well is I've been able to, like, I sleep, like, I'm not someone who will go to bed and then like stay up. Like, I'm not like for whatever, like stress or anxiety or whatever, like I just go to sleep. Like I don't have any problem sleeping at all. Like I've never had any problem sleeping.
That's a blessing, dude.
Honestly, like I'm someone who's like able to go to bed. I'm like in a meditative state, just go to sleep. So yeah, sleep is huge. Like more recently I've had to push through just because of like working with different teams during different hours and stuff, and just having to work later. And like, dude, it just sucks. Like it's so bad for you to be working late at night. I know people like trade London session and all that stuff,
dude,
but
fuck that, bro.
So not worth it in my mind, because once you really dial in and see the benefits of being in line with like the circadian rhythm of like going to bed at the right time and waking up at the right time, like you really understand how that affects your brain, dude, and your cognitive ability to process information and just to feel fucking happy and like dopamine and all that stuff. Obviously, if you've never experienced it, like you don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
but
no, it's true, man.
Yeah, once you see that and feel it, you understand like sleep is so fucking key,
dude. And that's something that like I was non-existent for me this year. Like, so I don't know, we pretty much, the summit was like the first time we like really chatted. Like before that, like January.
I had no idea who you were before that.
Yeah, because I was, dude, the beginning of this year, I was at like 3,000 subs. Like, you know what I mean? I was tiny on social media. You know what I mean? Literally 3,000 subs, not even exaggerating. But now it's at 93, I think, 92 something. But
I originally met you on Twitter, I think.
Yeah. So it was something. But
yeah,
before that, like in like January, I was like 50 pounds heavier in January.
Really?
Yeah, I was a fat fucker, bro.
Really?
I was a little chubby, but
you were bulked up.
No, I wasn't bulked up. I was fucking chunked up, bro.
I was chunked up.
I was a fat.
You were
fucker.
rounded up.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize it. Now I look back and I'm like, damn, you were fat as shit, bro. And I didn't even start getting into shape because of that.
It'll happen quick,
bro. It's funny. I swear, I fucking read or listened to that David Goggins book, and then I was like, just like, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to have this transformative journey. It just really made me look, and so I was like, dude, you're a lazy fuck. You know what I mean? I was like going hard in business.
That's self-talk.
Yeah. I was going hard in business, but I was not going hard in fitness. And I just like, I even told my girl, she loves running. And I was like, yeah, I'm never going to do that shit. So I just started fucking going crazy, bro. Like running. I just got his fucking, literally it was like January 4th. I was like, bro, let's just see like how much you can do. So I used to box when I was a kid, right? I boxed for years. And we used to run sauna suits. Like it was real like iron gym. Like there was no fucking health scare there. It was like run till you throw up. You know what I mean? So I knew how to do that. You know what I mean? So I literally got like sauna suit, started just running, bro. I couldn't even run a half fucking mile at once, bro. But I woke up at 5:30. I did it as a challenge too, because I was like, okay, this is how you'll make yourself accountable. You're gonna post this on Twitter and be like, I'm gonna do the 75 hard. Because then if you don't do it, you're a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be public about it. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, this guy.
Public execution.
Yeah, for real. I was like, put yourself, and then so, dude, you had to do it. And I would post it. I'm gonna be up at 5 a.m. every morning. Bro, I was staying up till like 1 in the morning, waking up at 5 for like, I was doing the carnivore diet while I'm doing this.
Oh my God,
dude,
you were going in.
Bro, went from like eating fucking like just shit food, sitting in my chair. I'm like that World of Warcraft guy. Like the fucking, not that bad, but you
become in shape of the chair.
Yeah, I'm like watching ICT, fucking just trading. Bro, I've been to the gym in fucking forever.
You do that for 6 months, you'll find yourself in a bad spot.
Bro, I did it
mentally and health wise.
Longer than 6 months. More like, it was really bad actually for like 6 months. But like, yeah, dude, I was a fat fuck.
Good for you, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it feels good. And I
coming
dude,
around.
Everything got so much better. I mean, I genuinely, if I wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't be sitting here talking. 100%.
Of course not.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I did like the carnivore. I wasn't getting any sleep though. That was the one thing that it was just like completely neglected was sleep, bro. I was literally like 4 hours a night, and I would just wake up and it was tired and awful.
And you're wondering like, why does this suck?
I know, right? And I would talk to my girl, and she would tell me, she'd be like, babe, like what you're doing is great, but like you need to like, you really got to start sleeping. You got to start taking care of yourself. 'Cause I was working, like I was building my program. I was doing content. I'm trading. You know, I was literally and people be like, oh, I'm putting in 16-hour days. And they're like, they're on their phone for like 6 hours. They're fucking not, you know, I was genuinely like putting my phone to the side, grinding, dude. You know what I mean?
The thing that I've learned though in running TFT is that the more it's interesting, the more you work per se, and the less you focus on, I'll just call it like the mental clarity. So this involves all things when it comes to eating and sleeping and working out and what you read, whatever. The more you only work and the less you focus on the mental clarity, you're going to have to work more.
Yes.
Because you have less mental clarity. Like you're going to just be doing this dogmatic stuff. You're not going to be working efficiently. But the more you balance that out, right, and you get that mental clarity and the acuteness, like you are able to do so much more in such less time.
Yes, dude.
So that's what I'm most focused on a day-to-day basis is how do I continue to reevaluate and to re-implement that routine to have like ultimate mental clarity so I can work less. That doesn't mean that if I wanted to, I wouldn't spend time on, you know, studying new things or whatever, right? And there's a difference between working and learning. But yeah, you don't have to like slave away like all fucking day and like neglect your health.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
It's not. Yeah. And it's cool now though. You know what I mean? And a lot of people misunderstand. Like I get some people will be like, bro, like you gotta like lay off the hard shit. I'm not saying like, I'm not out here like David Goggins. Like, you know, you gotta run fucking 20 miles in cold plunge before you have success. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like Matt, My Funded Effects Matt. He tweeted and he was like, I'm on a plane. And guess what? You know, I drank alcohol and I ate food and I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, that's not it either.
Yeah. I know. I remember. I was like, that's what, literally, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, if you're trying to be a beta, that's the route to take. That's beta mentality, bro. I get what you're going for, but in theory, I get it.
It wasn't good execution.
But fundamentally, bro, that's being a beta.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't encourage a generation of men to become beta.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. There's like, it's few people walk the line where it's like, you know, you're just doing, and what's so funny, bro, and it comes back to almost fucking common sense. You know what I mean? Like, just like we know that it's like, oh, like, let's not normalize just being like fat and out of shape, but it's also not normalized being a psychopath. It's like, oh, what do you do then? What do you think? Just fucking take care of yourself, stay dedicated, stay focused, do healthy things, put healthy things in your body, and do meaningful work.
Put it this way, bro. If with TFT, if I hit 130 million in payouts, and this is very important. Anyone listening to this should really listen to this. If I hit 130 million in payouts, and TFT is a 10-figure business, and we're crazy successful, but I don't have my health and I don't have my mental clarity, my day-to-day is shit.
Yeah, 100%. Like, what does it mean at that point?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
I'm literally living most of people's dream, right?
Yeah.
I have a huge business. I have tons of employees. I work on my passion. I have no boss. But if I don't work on myself and I don't have that mental clarity, what is life?
Yeah, no, 100%,
Legit.
bro. And I think that, a lot of people need to hear that because, and even like I was even in the looking at things from the wrong perspective not that long ago. But I think it was because it did help me a lot going through that. But then I realized after a while, I was like, bro, you got to chill out a little bit. You know what I mean? And have that balance because like you said, whenever if you're rested, you're, well kept mentally and just physically, you know what I mean? Your 4 hours of work is your old 8 hours of work. You know what I mean? And maybe not that big.
I'm going to give some people some real, not game, but just this is my opinion.
The game.
Right? So let's just say everyone's so obsessed with material possessions, right? If somebody is in peak shape and they take care of themselves, they have nice skin, right? Everything, and they have a garbage bag as their clothes, right? They're probably going to look fucking fire. Honestly, yeah. they're in peak condition, peak face, peak skin, and then you got some dude who ate cheeseburgers for a year, but he's wearing Louis and he's wearing whatever, right? Who is doing better out here, right?
Yeah,
at the
true, man.
At the end of the day, this guy's walking around, big smile on his face, right? Peak health, got crazy amount of energy. This dude can't even make it through a dinner without feeling like he's gonna fall asleep.
Yeah,
who's winning?
Right? No, that's true, man. Yeah, money isn't everything, man. It's definitely something
you're gonna see, bro. There's gonna be an evolution beyond the trading that it's gonna be a health. It's already starting, but there's gonna be a revolution in terms of our health. I've already seen some influencers pushing it. Some of these influencers that formerly were pushing alcohol and stuff. Health is in now.
Oh, it is. No, it
you know what I'm saying?
is.
Health and working out is not a fad. Taking care of your body is not a fad. This shit is permanent, and this shit is how you not only create big businesses, this shit is how you change the world, change your family, change your life, right? Taking care of yourself, that's how you fucking do it.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%, bro. I agree. And, even, like you said, okay, touching the point that it's, cool now. And that is so true because me and my partner in the Discord were talking about, he was making a joke about, we've both gotten in shape. We were not in shape. Mm-hmm. We're now we just got to get the abs, dude. I was like, you got to get to the abs because whenever you're looking at buying something, it's there's two people that are offering, similar things. Are you going to buy it from the fat dude or are you going to buy it from the dude that's ripped? People almost, that's not going to be the only deciding factor, but it's crazy because like you said, it's cool now.
It makes a difference, bro.
Yeah, it really does.
Because being in shape, it has a profound effect because it's something you can't necessarily buy. You can take roids, but
yeah. but still, even people that take roids, they gotta get it in. You know what I mean? It is easier, but it's a testament of that person's dedication. You know
and
what I mean?
Will, yeah.
So it's people that hate on whatever, he did roids.
I'm gonna be completely honest, bro, and this opinion is not something that is gonna be very well liked. But if I'm in a meeting, and two things. One, if I'm in competition with someone in terms of our business and I look at them and they are sloppy and they eat all this shit food and they drink all the time, I am so confident that I'm going to beat this person.
Yeah.
I'm just where do we start? Be in my meetings too. You come in the meeting. I don't even care at this point. I'm going to fucking crush you because I just know mentally that I'm going to be, more on than you are over X amount of time. And then there's another thing, say I'm trying to do a business deal and it's all about energy for me. So if we're in a business deal and this person, I'm not going to say if you're fat, I won't work with you, but if you're out of shape and you have bad energy in terms of you're not, you're charismatic, you can't hold the conversation. I could tell that you're down. You know what I'm saying? We're probably not going to end up doing business together because I can't relate to that. That's not something I want to be a part of. If you come in and you have good energy, but you're a little out of weight, but you're accountable, you're honest about it, not like saying you need to like tell me I'm fat, but like, you know, like you're someone who's striving to be better. Like I can tell that you are, and that you know where you're at. Then yeah, like we'll do business together. It's all about being honest. So the more in shape you are, bro, the more honest you've been with yourself, the more disciplined you've been, the more living with integrity you've been over X amount of time. That shit I respect.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's just, you know why though? It's because it's fucking human instinct, right? Like it's human instinct to like, you're gonna see somebody that's like more, you know, in shape. Those people are more likely to survive. You know what I'm saying? If that makes literally, I believe that. I always think some crazy.
Of course,
I'm thinking like crazy deep, but that is the case for it. Have you ever seen that guy Andy Elliott?
No.
He's like a sales coach. This dude's fucking crazy. You should watch this shit just for funny shit. Like he'll be like, he's like doing some like Grant Cardone mastermind shit. He'll be like, oh yeah, he's like, you come up here, and he even looks like a fucking drill sergeant. And then people come up there and they'll be like, oh, you want it that bad? And they like pull their shirt up, and he's like, he doesn't have fucking six pack. I'm like, damn, bro, holy shit.
Get this guy off the stage.
Yeah, for real. Like, dude, it's crazy.
Yo, but that type of exposing of somebody's, you know,
no, that's
who they are, bro. That's deep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking serious, bro. You have to watch that shit. But it's honestly funny. I follow him just because I'm like, this shit is hilarious, bro. Dude, and the dude, he literally just here. Actually, I'm just gonna show you this shit just because you see this fucking guy, bro. He literally.
I love those. They're like hardcore,
dude.
Sales training.
Yes,
dudes.
You've probably seen the guy. You might not realize it, but you've probably seen the guy.
There's one dude. What the hell is this guy's name? Jeremy Trainer or
Jeremy
Minor. Minor.
Yeah.
He's one of those.
Yeah. I can't.
Oh, he's serious.
Yeah. He looks like a fucking drill sergeant, doesn't he?
He's got Elliot on his shirt.
Yeah.
He's fucking ripped.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and the dude is actually walking the talk too.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, that shit's hilarious, bro.
I love that shit though.
But I was gonna say I love it. Like one thing about like, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of your employees, not like on every department, but you have a lot of employees that you actually get to see. You know what I mean? Like all mine. Because I have 29 people in my company, right? Mm-hmm. Not as much as you, but it's still a lot. But none of them I get to see ever, right? Because they're all over the world. Like I have employees in Pakistan, I have employees in India, I have employees in the Canary Islands, Ireland, Argentina, some in the United States, but not around where I live. So it's like I wish that I had that element because like this guy, he'll go around and like have all his team go and they'll do like they'll run a 5K together or like hit a gym workout. Like, do you guys ever get to do anything like that?
So there's actually not as many employees in South Florida as you would think. There's probably, off the top of my head, there's probably between employees and then partners that I work with, there's probably like 10 people honestly that are here. So it's mainly like throughout the US and then international. So I don't have as many people as you would think in person. I would love to do that and to be a part of that and to build that. It just comes down to when you're in such a niche business like us, it's hard to recruit. It's becoming easier because of how big we're becoming. So it's like more mainstream, the business, but it's hard to recruit people that have the knowledge. Like for example, someone that like to hire somebody who has experience with MetaTrader,
dude, yeah,
is like, we've tried to recruit in the US, and we've just gotten more leads in a country like the Czech Republic or something like that, right? So
poach FTMOs.
It all depends where you're trying to hire, what you're trying to hire for, and obviously in the niche that we're in, right? It's very niche.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Everybody listen to this, they're just like starting to work out the TFT employees.
We have done events though where like everyone's coming. We've done the workouts and stuff, and like it's super fun. I mean, it's part of the reason I love living down here is that element of it.
Dude, it's nice. Like this morning I hit a Murph with
with that guy.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, this is a fucking vibe. Like out here doing the pull-ups on the beach and shit.
Of course.
That's way better than like when I do a Murph, it's in this like dark gym. I mean, it's not bad, but you know what I'm saying? Compared to running out in the sunlight.
Like it's underground.
In this cave. Dude, I want to invest in a home gym, man. But then I'm like a fucking total hermit at that point. Like,
it's tough.
Yeah, because I'm like,
you live in a house?
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy how much cheap. Like, we have a 4-bedroom house, 2,500 square foot. It's $2,000.
$2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? In Tennessee, though. Yeah. Here it's like $2,000, and you're like
$2,000. You're
homeless.
living in
Just kidding.
living in the shoebox.
Liberty City.
Yeah, legit.
No, but
crazy, man.
Yeah, man. But I want to get like the home gym. I got her a Peloton. We kind of have a home gym, but I want to get like a full home gym.
You want to deck it out.
Yeah, like the power tower cable systems. I mean, like literally. But then I'm like, damn, then I will never leave the fucking house.
Yeah,
bro.
that's the thing. Yeah, and getting out and going to the gym is nice.
It's important to get out of the house, dude.
Of course. I mean, we're both people who
Digital
can work,
entrepreneurs.
wherever and can realistically work from home. Traditionally, I've been someone who's been really big on not working from my apartment.
Get an office or something.
I have no. I would mainly work in WeWork. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I would go, like, I have a WeWork membership, and I would mainly just work there, honestly, for the most part. Yeah. So now I actually have, because I have a space like this, I'm building kind of like a little office that I'll work in. But like, I don't know, man. I like getting out. I like being around, other people, like being of that energy, being out into the city. But yeah, you could easily fall into that category where you don't leave.
I'm already there, bro.
Like,
There's no falling into it. It's just falling deeper.
Well, you have a family and stuff, so
Yeah.
you get that element of it where you're working, but then there's other shit going on, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get out a lot too. We go out and we'll eat or go out and do shit like at least once or twice a week. But
you don't go hunting at all.
Hunting?
Yeah.
No, because Tennessee. I was like, are you a hunter? I did when I was a kid, like once. And I was just like, damn. Like,
where do you live in Tennessee?
Knoxville.
You're in Knoxville.
So it's Eastern Tennessee. Remember that one time we talked to you? We were talking about Asheville. We used to live in Asheville, bro. Fuck Asheville, bro.
Yeah, that's what dude, you were telling me.
It's so gilded, dude. Like it's like you go visit and you're like, this is awesome, and then you live there and you're like, what the fuck have I done?
That's like a lot of major cities now.
Yeah,
besides
dude.
Miami.
Dude, Miami is
we're protected.
Sick, bro. I love Miami so much. Like
our leader.
It's so okay. For one, it's as far as like big cities like New York, LA, Miami, Chicago. Like I've never really been into Chicago much, but I used to live right outside LA, right? And then New York, I've been there a little bit, but Miami is just, you get all the benefits of being a big city, but it's
Wait,
easy.
so you went out, you were in New York.
Yeah, just last week.
And you went out with Carlito.
Yeah.
Carlos and Santi.
And then Omar and Riz.
Where'd you guys go?
Catch.
Catch.
Fucking phenomenal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did we go to Catch? We did.
It was phenomenal.
We went to Catch, and what's his name? Josh, who's Riz's media partner, gave me a Zen bomb, one of those nicotine pouches.
Dude, fuck! I've been trying to.
And
stay
I was
away
like,
from those things.
I got so fucked up from the Zen
Really?
bomb. Yeah, because I don't, do those.
You smoke cigars though, right?
I do.
So then I'd probably get fucked up. By it.
And bro, I got blasted. It was in my mouth for like 30 seconds.
What?
And then I was spinning, like,
bro, what is in them?
rotating. Bro, it's just a dip pouch.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, is it just a dip pouch? Because everybody acts like the Red Pill Society they jerk to those things. They fucking, dude, Zen and caffeine.
Bro,
fucking super drug.
That's what Josh told me. He's like, bro, you never done these? I'm like, let me get into the peer pressure a little bit. Let me give in. Let me take the Zen bomb and see what's up. Literally, it was in for 30 seconds. Dropped it out of my mouth in the water. And I was like, whoa. Like, I was so fucked up. Went to the bathroom. Was about to puke. Like, I was feeling crazy, bro. And that was that Catch.
Damn.
That was that Catch. The food
Before
there
or
was
after you
sick.
ate?
It was after.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was like right before dessert. Everyone's like, what do you want for dessert? I'm like, not to die.
Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, I've stayed clear of those things because, like, I love cigars, dude. Like, I've toned back on them. When I was smoking at the house, I try to just smoke them at the lounge now. That's like my thing, because then it's like, okay, it's more of a thing. Because I would smoke one like every other day, and I was like, bro, you gotta chill. But
It becomes a lot.
Yeah. But then
You smoke weed or no?
No, I used to, crazy, dude. But honestly, I don't know. It's so funny. Like, I feel like such a hypocrite saying this because when I was younger, I would like never say this.
How old are you now?
27.
27. Okay.
Yeah. So like, whenever I was younger, I used to smoke a ton of weed, dude. Like, ungodly amounts, so like 5 blunts a day type shit.
Right.
Just total degenerate.
Yeah.
But now I'm like,
So did I.
right? Really?
Why do you think?
That's crazy.
That's so weird.
Yeah, no, like, but now I couldn't. If I took a hit of weed, I would be so fucking paranoid, bro, and just like anxious and shit. But I don't know. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that smoke weed that are successful. I'm not saying you're just like, oh, you're whatever. Like, obviously.
I don't know what it is either. I had to get off it because it was making me more unproductive, and
Dude, you're lazy and it just makes you super like I feel like it's like dopamine blocker.
I just couldn't
almost.
handle it, dude.
Like real dopamine.
It
Like
was making me a beta.
yeah, for real, bro.
It was making me a beta, bro.
Like it's nice and cool and shit.
It was lowering my test.
Dude, it has. That's what I'm saying. It literally, because there's levels to dopamine, right? There's like dopamine people get from like playing a video game, and there's dopamine you get from like hitting your goals and like building a fucking company. There's not the fucking same. I don't care what anybody says, you know. And then there's like dopamine from like smoking weed or something and going out. Those are even different. But I feel like it's like fake dopamine, and it like makes you, like tricks you into thinking like you've done some shit or something, and you just don't want to do shit. It makes me lazy as fuck.
What do you think? What amount of money do you think changes your life?
Dude, I mean, honestly, I think for some people, little as like 10 grand could change some people's life. You know what I mean? And I think it's all about perspective and place. Like 100,000, I think, could change people's life. And that's a good question because it's super subjective. Like, change somebody's life could be like, oh, like, maybe somebody's in debt and they have no money and, whatever. And then $10,000 could change their life. Or, some other people, $10,000 is like a fucking zero,
I think
an arrow on zeros,
I think being positive 100 grand, truly changes your life.
Yeah, because it sets you up to not only probably take care of any, shit you had going on, but also lay a foundation to build from. You know what I mean? I think that's
allows you the decision of choice.
Yeah.
Like it gives you a choice of what you want to do on a daily basis. If you're make 10K and then you're debt free, I mean, you're still a slave.
Yeah, you're still fucked. Yeah.
You still have to, you're not a slave, but you still have to grind and hustle and, build up your bankroll. But like once you get positive 100K, that's when, not to say that's the end all be all, but that's definitely that can definitely change your life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100. I think, that's a good way to put it.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Speaking of like kind of just like financial situations and stuff, like I'm interested on your take, and obviously you don't have data on this, but when you do like interviews with people that are consistent, not just the people that make the big payouts, but people, or like people that in the industry, you have to name names or anything, but like that are consistent. Do you think that those people more often than not came up from like zero zilch, they were dead broke and they made it all from trading, or maybe they had a little bit of a cushion, or maybe they had another business, or this wasn't their first rodeo? It's probably a hard question.
I think all of them. One realization that I had is out of all the people that I've spoken with, there's never been someone that's come on the podcast and been like, yo, I was rich and then I got into trading and I, became even more rich.
Not rich.
It was always like I'm saying, it was like a millionaire or something, or like was born into wealth, like, right, or whatever, like had a crazy job and like a truly like high level job. And they were like, made the transition. It's really been a lot of people from the gutter.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I mean, even myself, I went to college. I went into debt from college, right? Like I was in the gutter, right? So I think trading is just at least Forex, like it just attracts a lot of people that are in the gutter. There are some exceptions to that. I've spoken with a few people who have worked a job, saved up 10 years, right? And then they were like trading simultaneously, built up trading to the point where it overcame their other income, and then they quit their job.
It's like the responsible way.
That's like a very responsible way. But like, dude, I've talked to some people who are like, yo, like I was down bad. I had taken a credit card, bought my last challenges, and I got a payout.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a big spectrum of people who are either just fucking in the down bad in the gutter, or grinding out, and then the people that are a little bit more responsible. But yeah, like the only dudes that I see come into these, taking the evaluations and becoming traders that have money are like these crypto bros that are like, yo, I ran up $1 million on this shit coin, and now I'm trying to diversify into prop trading, and here I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never met someone who's like truly been financially stable that's now like, I'm going to come run it up on a prop firm, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of those people too trade personal. I've run into quite a few people that are like, they have a foundation, definitely not rich, you know what I mean, by any means, but like have a foundation. And I feel like it's easier for those people to learn than it is for somebody who's like, fucked if they don't. Like I get messages sometimes from people and they'll be like, yo, dude, I've got, this is literally an exact message. He's like, hey man, I just wanted your advice. I've got 4 kids. I live in, it was like, I can't remember, like Boston or New York. It's like, and I have $500 left to my name and one prop firm, and this can buy me one challenge. Like, what would be your advice for this challenge? I was like, my advice to you is like fucking start door dashing or something, or like get a fucking job, bro.
My advice would be to pray.
Yeah.
To God, bro.
But full
And then
margin.
after you pray, get in your car and drive Uber.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, $500 you can make that in like 2 days, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
bro.
what the
And then
fuck?
train your kids to drive Uber too. Like, bro. Now I've talked to a lot of Uber drivers, DoorDash. I tweeted this on the TFT account. I think the ultimate way to escape the matrix, if you don't have a degree and you don't have a real job, is to, if you don't have a car, you get a bike. If you don't have a bike, you can't really walk. You could run, but like that'd be really
Just
weird.
run the fucking
But,
DoorDash.
run with
He's
the
a little
food.
late, bro.
You're
a
just
little
like
bit late.
running. I have to buy a challenge. No, I'm sure people do that. But yeah, my life had to escape the matrix would just be to DoorDash. But obviously, 4 kids is a little bit different, right? It's a whole
it's like-
different level.
yeah.
But like, if you don't have as many, responsibilities, or even if you do, I mean, if this can cover it, you would Uber, DoorDash, whatever. Obviously sustain your lifestyle. I'm sure your lifestyle is not that grand at that point. Sustain the lifestyle and the discretionary income. Use that to buy the challenges, or just do free accounts while you're learning. And then once you get these free accounts, start having some returns on them, some substantial returns. You prove that you have some type of edge. That's when you start to use the discretionary income to buy the challenges. And then you have to make money on the funded account. And then once you make enough money potentially to cover your expenses for 2 months or 1 month, then you have to try to transition from Ubering and everything to try to become full-time. It's what Paladin did, right? Like, it's literally what he did
He's
to
a
become
unicorn, you know what I mean?
to become where he's at. Other people have done it. I've spoken with people on here that have Ubered and then got like 30K payouts and then like quit their jobs, right, for the rest of like 6 months. Like, they quit their Uber job. So it's definitely a lane. It's definitely a play, for sure. But is it demoralizing? Yeah. Like, is it fun? No, right?
Nothing good comes easy, though.
I've Ubered before, believe it or not. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a good time. Like, you just,
Feel thrown up in your car.
yeah, like people, you either have to speak with random people all the time, or like obviously just drive them, right? So this is not the funnest thing, but like, yeah, definitely a possibility to escape the matrix by using that method.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. So like, after talking to tons of different profitable traders and also seeing data too, which, data is more, I guess, kind of like black and white. There's not much subjectivity to it because it's exactly that, it's data. But if you were, knowing everything to somebody who is struggling trading prop firms, what would be your advice to them?
I would say that if you take 10 challenges and you're not positive, you shouldn't buy another challenge.
Definitely not.
Like 100%. You shouldn't buy another challenge. The reason I say that is because out of the people who have gotten paid out, in terms of a percentage of people who are net positive, I'm pretty sure it's up to about 40% of those people are net positive, something like that. So they've achieved the payout. They've made more than they've paid in challenge fees, right? So if you're taking 10 challenges and you have not even passed to a funded account or received one payout, this is not for you. Like, you need to really get back to the drawing board, because it's the same as there's risk reward when it comes to challenges, the same as there is when it comes to trades.
Yep.
So if you were taking 10 trades and you don't win one, you're clearly doing something really wrong. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
So if you're taking 10 challenges and you don't pass one, like, you are doing something incredibly wrong. And yeah, if you're trying to be like amongst the highest performers, you have people like Kyle who have paid a few $1,000s and have pulled over 200 grand
Crazy.
from evaluation, just TFT alone. I mean, not, I don't know about other companies as well.
Yeah.
So
he had his first the other day. He made 100K in one day across all firms.
yeah, so that's a whole other level of it. And another thing another piece of advice I would give to people, honestly, is like, don't look at people like Kyle and think that you need to buy 8 challenges across 8 different firms and get from 0 to 3 million.
Yeah.
There's a lot of influencers right now that are pushing that story or that dream of, oh, I'm trading 10 million in challenges right now.
Yeah, it's like, that's like the new bio. It's like 6 million in capital.
Like I'm maxed out on my, and listen, if they've gotten payouts and they can reasonably afford to do that, that's fantastic, right? They've gotten 10K, 20K in payouts. Now they got a nice discount. They bought 5 challenges. Cool, you're killing it, right? But like for the average person who's using their discretionary income, who's never gotten paid, do not shoot for the stars.
Just to start with all those challenges. Like,
yeah,
no, I agree 100%. I actually tell my students that like, you should look at it like, kind of like if you're opening up a shop. Like, okay, let's say if you open up a new business, whatever it is, like a retail shop, we'll just say, for example, are you going to open up one in every neighborhood of the entire city before you have success with one? Sounds ridiculous. That's exactly what that would be doing. You know what I mean?
I'll give you an example of a mistake I made recently with TFT. This is very serious. So we bought backpacks, right? And I don't like to sell merch. I'm not in a business of selling merch, right? I don't give a fuck about selling merch. I like to give merch away for free, right? I think merch is an important part of building a brand. People like merch, right? So, I like to design, I like to make it. So we made backpacks because everyone that did interviews with me, I wanted to like give a backpack to, jersey, hat, stuff. And I ordered 100 backpacks, right? And they get delivered. And when I was ordering it, I'm like, oh, I got a good deal. Like, I could get all of them now and then I'll have them for later on type shit. Then I get them. And now my whole corner of my freaking apartment is filled with 100 backpacks. And I'm not giving them away, like enough at a clip to make it worth it storing these things in my apartment. So now they're taking up space. They're just sitting there and they're useless. And I put up this money, I paid a few $1,000s, not that it means much, but like it was a mistake. Like I shouldn't have bought that much so soon. I could have bought 10 and been completely fine.
Yeah. Have you ever read that book? This made me think of this. It's The Impossible, or what is it? The Startup. I can't remember what my mind's completely blank. Damn.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah, I know, dude. I'm surprised that he doesn't have it on the shelf over there, bro. He has all the good books.
The legendary bookshelf?
No, he does. There's a lot of good books over there. But what is it? It's something startup.
We'll be back.
I'll remember it as soon as this.
After a quick interim.
I'll remember it as soon as the pod's over.
Yeah.
But it's a book that a lot of like Silicon Valley CEOs that like will recommend, and it's like that principle is like don't get in over your head. Like just get a viable product, test it, and like build iterations from there. And anything you do.
The great thing about evaluation companies is you can get a 5K challenge. Listen, it's not that fun to trade a 5K challenge. You can get a 25K challenge, right, for a couple $100, and you can make 5% on that account, right? You make $1,200, whatever that is, after your withdrawal split, and that is scalable. You can then buy a 100K account and make 5% on that, and your income is times 4, right? And then buy a 400K, and you can make it on that. So don't rush the process. Like if you rush the process, I promise you will not only not make it, you will be broke.
Yes.
That's like my guarantee to you.
100%, bro. No, I can't agree enough. Out of like all the challenges, which one has the highest success rate, if you can say?
The highest success rate. So in terms of
payout,
once upon a time, the standard challenge had the highest success rate because it had the 6% daily drawdown and the 12% max. So I think that daily drawdown and max drawdown is a very important factor when it comes to a challenge. I think another thing is the rules. So challenges that have very open rule sets tend to result in less payouts because it leaves more room for the trader to subjectively make their own decisions, and that ultimately results in more failure.
So like you're saying, like ones that are just like a couple rules.
I'll give you an example. Like if a challenge were to have a consistency rule or a lot size rule or a news trading rule or weekend holding rule, right? Those are parameters you're establishing around their trading behavior, which are ultimately going to make them, they're really going to make them better traders.
So those actually do have higher success rates when they add those.
Yeah.
Because like it's funny because all the things that people think, it's like the time limit stuff. It was a mental game, right? Like people that fail challenges fail in less than 3 weeks usually.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, regardless of when we were pulling the data and looking at, oh, should we do unlimited days? You know, it was never about, oh, this is going to, in terms of challenge revenue versus payouts, this is going to result in payouts superseding challenge revenue. You know, it was never really about that. It was more about the technology costs, right, that we have, and broker related costs and operational costs. You know, how is this going to elevate those types of things? Because yeah, the average person that gets an account, it's all about speed in this industry. Everyone wants to get paid and get paid fast. So although there are people that take advantage of buying a challenge and taking their time, it's not the majority.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like another thing that I'm even curious about, and I think a lot of people have asked me too, like which accounts yield the biggest success? Like would it be like, some people would say, oh, like the cheaper accounts would be, you know, easier to pass, and then the more expensive would be harder to pass because there's more pressure. I personally think it's the opposite. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that the small accounts, people see those small profits, they just start doing dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so giveaways have the lowest pass rate, and then you have, you know, 5 through 25K have a pretty low pass rates.
Which ones you said those lowest?
Giveaways.
Oh yeah, of course.
Giveaways.
YOLO,
you know,
and that shit.
People don't give a fuck.
Have you guys ever had a payout from a giveaway account?
Yeah, so we ran some statistics recently on giveaway accounts. Since June, we had given away 950 accounts.
God, that's a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, we in December alone, I think we gave away 1,000 accounts. So it was crazy. Yeah,
Christmas.
Or no,
spirit.
even more. We gave out today. Actually, what's today? Tuesday.
We gave it 1,000 a day.
We gave away 2,500 accounts today.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
it was
how?
part of this whole thing.
How?
It was part of a whole giveaway that we were doing, like in the whole month of December.
Bro, how much bandwidth are you just to maintain the fucking giveaways?
But from
insane.
June to today, we had given out about 1,000 accounts, and out of those 1,000 accounts, I think there was 60K in payouts. So those 1,000 accounts, hypothetically, let's say that out of 1,000 people, you know, 100 people end up buying a challenge from us, and then they pay, you know, the average order value, which is anywhere from $400 to $600. So let's say they spend $500, right? So we would end up making whatever that is, 5,000 or no, what is it? 50,000.
Yeah.
We end up making 50,000. So we're looking to break even on it, realistically, on the giveaways. But like, out of 1,000 people, are more than 100 people probably going to become recurring lifetime customers, you know, of the product, you know, most likely. So yeah, the cost is, what I'm trying to get at is the cost is worth it for us to do the giveaway accounts. Definitely more than you would think. 60,000 in payouts.
Yeah, that's definitely, because I would think like, I mean, you know, people get a giveaway and they're just like, lotto,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, you think about it, it's like you have, for terms of 2 phase challenges, 1,000 people, you know, get it. Phase 1, 200 people pass. Phase 2, 40% of people pass. So then you have about 80% of people that get funded, and then out of the 80% of people that are the 80 people that get funded, maybe 30% of them make it to a payout. So then you're talking, you know, 24 people end up making to a payout, and the average payout is around $3,000. But like their accounts are much smaller, so the average payout might be around $1,000 or like $1,500 or $2,000, right? And then that's how you're kind of getting to the 60,000.
Yeah. So what is, and this is another one too, what is like the actual number, if you can, like percentage of like of all people who buy a prop compared to like the people that make money? And I think that this number is going to be very low in percentage, but I want to put my 2 cents on why I think it's low. And I think the reason it's low is because of kind of the nature of most traders and like the mindset they have going into evaluations. I think that a lot of people literally lotto them. You know what I mean? A lot of people that are, you know, financially equipped, or even if they're not trying to lotto them, they do it inadvertently just because they don't have an actual system. But out of that, you know, big figure of, you know, everybody that buys a prop firm or a valuation challenge, how many percent of those people across all accounts get a payout?
So let me think of a number.
And it can be a ballpark. You know what I mean? Because I know it probably changes as well with the times. Like, I mean, if you went, it's going to be changed with, like, now we have the no time limit. You've got, because you guys, it's hard for, like, I guess to dumb it down or maybe make it simpler. like this, just the standard challenge. Because you guys have like 5. I actually just did a prop firm review thing, and I was doing you guys, and you guys have like 5. I didn't even know that you guys had that much.
5 challenges.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Dragon challenge.
Yeah,
You're
that's
the
a
dragon.
3-step. I didn't realize you guys actually launched that already. That one's interesting.
Let's go. So in terms of the number, I'll just guesstimate. I think there's been, let's just say there's been over 500,000 challenges taken, and there's about 25,000 payouts that have gotten sent out. So, if you were, that's not unique customers, obviously, right? Like I think in terms of unique customers, out of those 25,000 payouts, there was about, I think 7,000 unique people who've gotten the payout. But yeah, if you just look at like, say there's 500,000 or so people who've purchased, and there's 25,000 payouts, there's 5% of people are making it to a payout.
That's
something like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I about expect, like 95. Because I always say, and I've heard the same data from like other people as well. So that's why I kind of go into 95% of people fail at this game. You know what I mean? But I think that that's a kind of a misleading number as well. Not in the sense that it's not accurate, but in the sense that, with people that aren't really putting the time into learning trading the right way, or they're just approaching like a gambler, it doesn't surprise me that there's such a low success rate. Because trading is hard, even if you do it right. You know what I mean? It just is. And that's another thing too that I look at. Like, I hate when people victimize valuation firms are predatory. Okay, first of fucking all, you bought this shit. You know what I'm saying? Act like they came and hunted you down and forced you. Second of all, guess what, buddy? The markets always have been that way, right? Evaluation firms are like an amplified.
I'm painted as like the devil.
Yeah, I know.
Like I'm painted
I saw this guy tweet the other day. It was literally on New Year's. I don't know if you saw this. He was like, "Happy New Year's, except to Angelo."
Yeah,
fuck you. I was like, bro, what the fuck?
Y'all are so fucking wild.
I'm like, why that bad?
Yeah, but I mean, listen, I'm here. I'm here just to be someone who provides opportunity to people. You can, and I say this all the time in TFT's Discord. Some people add in, they're like, "I fucking hate it here" and shit. I'm like, guess what?
Leave.
You have a fucking finger, you have a hand. Move that shit on that mouse.
Move that shit to the
Get
evaluation.
Get the fuck out of here. You have so many decisions to make today. Like if TFT's going to be, you leaving TFT's one of them, fantastic.
And that's always the funniest shit to me when people complain about something like that and they just don't leave. You know what I mean? It's like you literally can just leave. It's not like, you know what I mean?
So instead, I mean, listen, I'm thankful that there is noise. I'm thankful that there's feedback and there's criticism. If there wasn't, that would mean that we're irrelevant.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I had to learn that, right? I wasn't coming into this as somebody who was conditioned to withstand the noise. You know what I'm saying? So I've just always tried to have that open mind and always tried to be a learner. And I've learned to understand what it is. People are coming at me from a lot of angles, and I don't need to come at them. I need to tell my side of the story, tell my narrative, tell the facts that I have at times. But like, I'm not gonna be on Twitter like giving out all my time to these random people. There's just a media that's becoming a thing in this niche, in this industry. And I'll let the media grow and do its thing, and I'll have my part in it. Shout out Prop Room Journal, and let it run its course. But that's it.
I love it, man. That's kind of the mentality you have to go at it with. So yeah, man, it's been a super awesome talk, super interesting stuff. I know there's been a lot of stuff that people probably had no idea of how things worked, or really just had never had an inside look. So thank you for that. And in closing thoughts, do you have any thing you want to kind of plug in? You guys are doing Prop Firm Journal. You can talk about that a little bit, or just any kind of like parting thoughts or advice you have to people in the evaluation firm industry. Yeah.
So, like you were saying, TFT has 5 challenges now. So we have the Dragon Challenge, which is a 3-phase challenge. People have been conflicting about what it is, right? Some people are upset that the Dragon Challenge came out because it's 3 phases. It's more of a percentage to actually pass the challenge, so they think that it's in a way unfair. We've tried to balance that by offering the best prices that we possibly can for those account sizes, offering some great features. People want to get paid fast. You can get paid really fast there. I've had people already pass in 3 days. on the Dragon Challenge and like get their payout within 10 days. So we've just been looking at all the best features and trying to incorporate that into there. So TFT wise, like that's the biggest thing is now that we have all these challenges, how can we now continue to improve them with add-ons and everything like that. But parting thoughts, TFT this year is all about automation. It's all about stability. It's all about efficiency. So we're trying to get back to the drawing board. We're building our own technology. I'm partnering with my own MetaTrader license, my own broker.
Nice.
So we've, applied for a license. So we're looking to come out with our own platform. And in order for us to get to our end goal of that data monetization, we need to control the entire vertical of the business, which is, having the platform, having the technology, and then even as far as like the banking and all that type of stuff. So TFT wise, that's the theme there. Everything else, like all the other Easton companies that I'm working on, my goals there is just to systematize and to strategize. Last year, I did a lot of the heavy lifting along with my other partners, Santi and Carlos and Matt, and getting all these businesses up and running and, implementing a lot of the procedures. But we have the reinforcements in. So we've hired a bunch of VPs within our business, VP of tech, VP of operations, VP of support, VP of marketing now, VP of product. And they're coming in and like we're hoping that they can take things over and kind of take things to another level, because to your point, like I didn't come into this with a ton of experience, and these guys have all the experience in the world now. We're hiring world-class people, so they're going to take things to another level with Easton. So the goal with Easton wise is just again stability, but just like growth. Like we want to have massive growth there. So I think a worthy goal is like how can we get one of my Easton firms to be as large as TFT in this new year, which I think is definitely possible. And then I think overall, just for the industry, listen, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs when it comes to any new industry, especially an industry with a lot of money. You're going to see a lot of crazy things happen this year, with the election coming up and just generally with the world, with all the events that are going on. So through all the noise, stay focused. If you're with a firm and that firm goes bust or denies a payout, or whatever, it's happen with MFF, like it happened before, it'll happen again. So don't be discouraged, just stay the path and just stay focused. We all have a great opportunity in the new year to really accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. And I'm a living testimony that you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. So yeah, appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, bro.
Really
I appreciate you too. Beautiful. I love it, man. And yeah. Awesome. Well, it's been awesome, and thank you also for coming on, bro.
2-hour pod.
Yeah, I know, right? I looked over and I
Wow.
didn't realize how long it was. But it was a great conversation, bro. Cool.
Shout out Andrew letting us.
Shout out Andrew.
Appreciate you, bro.
Hell yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah, it was dope, man.